Oregon, hiding 32 places that shouldn't exist. Places where water flows upward, mountains breathe fire while covered in snow, and entire forests vanish underground only to reappear decades later. What you're about to see will make you question everything you thought you knew about planet Earth. I'm about to take you to locations so impossible that Google Earth struggles to capture them, where indigenous peoples preserve secrets that modern science still can't explain. Welcome back to another Cultureverse exclusive. This is Thor's Well, and it appears to be draining the entire Pacific Ocean into hell, 20 feet deep. That's it. Yet it swallows 40-foot waves like they're nothing and makes the ocean disappear into what looks like an endless void. Scientists call it a spouting horn. Local tribes call it a portal. I call it impossible. Stand here during a winter storm and watch the Pacific Ocean get sucked into a hole you could easily jump across, if you had a death wish. The indigenous Owl Sea people knew this place for 6,000 years. They said ocean spirits and earth spirits dance here. After seeing this, I believe them. These 400-foot rock towers shouldn't exist. 15 million years ago, underwater volcanoes exploded and thrust these monuments from the ocean floor. Today, they're Oregon's coastal cathedrals, where tufted puffins nest in secret chambers. But here's the impossible part. During extreme low tides, temporary pathways appear between these giants. Walk them for 20 minutes before they vanish completely underwater. Temporary bridges to nowhere. Haystack Rock rises 235 feet from Cannon Beach, like a sleeping giant that could wake up any moment. This basalt monolith is actually alive, covered in the richest tidal ecosystem on the Pacific coast. At low tide, this rock reveals tide pools that are basically aquariums designed by nature. Purple sea urchins, bright orange starfish, and sea anemones that look like alien flowers. It's like the ocean's jewelry box opened up. The Devil's Punch Bowl is what happens when the ocean gets angry. This collapsed sea cave churns waves so violently it creates its own weather. 60-foot geysers exploding upward while the bowl fills and empties like a cosmic washing machine. The sound is audible from half a mile away. The spray creates rainbows, and somehow, this violence supports marine life found nowhere else on Earth. This lighthouse has guided ships through the graveyard of the Pacific since 1894. Over 2,000 ships lost. But that's not what makes it famous. It's the ghost named Rue, who's been witnessed by every lighthouse keeper since 1950. Footsteps in empty rooms, unexplained lights, the scent of roses where no flowers grow. Standing here during a Pacific storm with 30-foot waves crashing 200 feet below, you understand why spirits might choose to stay. Oregon's westernmost point shouldn't have white cliffs. This entire coast is black volcanic rock, yet Cape Blanco rises 200 feet in chalky limestone that's 15 million years old. A geological impossibility in basalt country. The Cape Blanco Lighthouse is Oregon's oldest, operating since 1873. But the real mystery is the weather. While fog blankets areas just miles away, Cape Blanco often enjoys clear skies in its own weather bubble. This shouldn't exist. The largest coastal sand dunes in North America, rising 500 feet above sea level, just miles from temperate rainforest. It's like someone dropped the Sahara Desert next to the Amazon. These dunes migrate 15 feet per year, burying entire forests, then exposing them decades later like sandy time capsules. Roosevelt elk wander through this desert like African nomads, following ancient routes through a landscape that changes with every storm. The dunes reveal perfectly preserved forests from 50 years ago, then bury them again. It's archaeology in reverse, the future eating the past. We started with Thor's Well, but you haven't seen its full power. During winter storms, this 20-foot hole swallows waves that should destroy coastal highways. The water doesn't just disappear. It explodes back up in perfect synchronization, as if the Earth itself is breathing through this portal. Physics says this is just hydraulics. Your eyes say this is magic. Stand here when 40-foot waves hit, and you'll understand why ancient peoples believe this place connects our world to something beyond. This blue doesn't exist in nature. Crater Lake is 1,943 feet deep, the deepest lake in America, filled with water so pure it glows like liquid sapphire. No streams flow in or out. Just snow, rain, and 7,700 years of absolute purity. You can see 100 feet down into crystalline depths. The Klamath people called this a portal between worlds. When you see water, this blue cradled in the collapsed remains of Mount Mazama, you understand why they considered it sacred. Wizard Island rises from the center like a sleeping dragon. In winter, when 40 feet of snow blankets the rim, this becomes a blue jewel hidden in white wilderness, accessible only by cross-country skis. Mount Hood breathes. 12 glaciers expand and contract with the seasons, while steam vents near the summit reach 180 degrees Fahrenheit, even when surrounded by snow and ice. This sleeping giant literally grows and shrinks with Earth's heartbeat. Palmer Glacier hosts the only year-round ski area in North America. You can ski on snow in July while people swim in lakes 50 miles away. The geological impossibility of winter and summer existing in the same zip code. Hidden in Central Oregon's forests lies North America's largest obsidian flow. 700 acres of volcanic glass, so sharp it was traded across the continent by Native Americans. This isn't just rock, it's a field of black diamonds. Paulina hot springs bubble at perfect temperatures year-round, while snow covers the rim 30 feet deep. Two pristine lakes fill this massive caldera where Native Americans witnessed eruptions just 1,300 years ago. This is what happens when molten rock carves its own highway. A mile-long lava tube where you can walk through the Earth's intestines, following the exact path that liquid stone took 80,000 years ago. Constant 42 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, total darkness. Cathedral chambers where your voice echoes for 10 seconds. Indigenous peoples use these caves as natural refrigerators, storing food through harsh winters. In Oregon's high desert, impossible towers of welded volcanic ash rise 600 feet like alien architecture. This stone is so hard it rings like metal when struck, yet carved into spires so delicate they seem ready to topple. Smith Rock birthed American sport climbing because these walls offer routes impossible anywhere else. 2,000 climbing routes, from beginner cracks to routes only a dozen humans have ever completed. At dawn and dusk, these walls glow like heated metal, transforming from gold to crimson to deep purple in minutes. Indigenous peoples gathered here for spiritual ceremonies, understanding that these rocks test character, not just strength. The three sisters share the same deep magma source, yet represent different stages of volcanic evolution. North Sister shows her ancient scars. Middle Sister stands in perfect symmetry. South Sister remains so young, her crater holds snow year-round. Between them lies the obsidian limited entry area, volcanic glass fields so sharp and fragile that only 75 people per day are allowed to enter. It's like walking on a forbidden planet. Mount Jefferson is Oregon's forbidden mountain, so sharp and unstable that entire cliff faces collapse without warning. This 10,497-foot spire defeats most climbing attempts through sheer geological hostility. Below this hostile peak lies Jefferson Park, Oregon's Shangri-La. alpine meadows so beautiful they seem impossible beneath such a dangerous mountain. Perfect reflections in Russell Lake double the mountain's impact, creating supernatural photographic moments. Oregon's largest desert playa stretches 12 miles of perfectly flat alkaline lake bed that floods in winter, then becomes a white salt flat so smooth you can see the Earth's curvature. This is Oregon's Bonneville Salt Flats. Steens Mountain rises directly from this desert floor, 5,000 feet in a single vertical mile, creating one of the most dramatic cliff faces in North America. It's like someone dropped a skyscraper mountain in the middle of Nevada. Hidden hot springs steam at perfect temperatures year-round, creating desert oases that shouldn't exist at this latitude. Soak in 104 degrees Fahrenheit water while staring at a mountain wall that disappears into clouds. These trees were already ancient when Columbus reached America. 600-year-old Douglas fir and western red cedar so massive that 20 people holding hands couldn't circle their trunks. Walking among these giants feels like entering a living cathedral built by time itself. The forest floor tells stories of renewal spanning centuries. Fallen titans become nurse logs, supporting entire ecosystems for 500 years. Beneath the Siskiyou Mountains lies Oregon's Marble Halls, limestone caves so intricate that early explorers called them nature's underground palace. 6 million years of patient water sculpting chambers that echo with geological whispers. The Ghost Room features formations so delicate they transmit light. Flowstone curtains, crystal soda straws, and cave pearls formed by water dripping for thousands of years. Indigenous peoples considered these sacred portals to the underworld. The Painted Hills reveal 54 million years of Oregon's history painted in stone. Each colored band represents a different climate epoch: red from tropical periods, black from ancient forests, gold from volcanic ash that welded in midair. These aren't just pretty hills. They're time machines preserving saber-toothed cats, tiny horses, and rhinoceros that roamed Oregon when it resembled modern Mexico. Evolution frozen in rainbow stone. Cathedral Grove survived every logging operation, forest fire, and development pressure for over 1,000 years. These 300-foot-tall Douglas fir were already centuries old when European explorers first reached Oregon. Standing among these 1,000-year giants during morning mist, when sunlight filters through branches 200 feet above, you experience what biologists call forest bathing, a proven physiological response that reduces stress and boosts immune function. 10 major waterfalls within 5 square miles, a geological impossibility that exists because 15-million-year-old lava flows created perfect conditions for this concentration of falling water. South Falls lets you walk behind its 177-foot curtain through a cavern so perfectly carved that early settlers called it nature's cathedral. The basalt ceiling shows hexagonal columns formed by slowly cooling lava, geometric perfection created by volcanic patience. Winter Falls transforms completely with seasons. A summer ribbon becomes a winter torrent, while spring creates temporary waterfalls that exist for weeks before vanishing. Nature's own seasonal theater. Proxy Falls performs impossible magic. 100 feet of waterfall that vanishes completely into the ground, disappearing into porous lava rock as if the earth were drinking every drop. The moss grows so thick it creates hanging gardens of velvet green, fed by constant spray. Each strand acts as a living sponge, creating a microclimate so humid that rare ferns thrive in combinations found nowhere else. This isn't erosion. This is a waterfall that feeds the mountain, traveling through underground caverns to emerge miles away as springs. The visible world connecting to the invisible realm. Steens Mountain rises 9,733 feet directly from desert floor, the largest fault block mountain in North America. A sky island where alpine tundra exists, surrounded by thousands of square miles of high desert. The eastern face drops 5,000 feet in 1 vertical mile, one of the most dramatic cliff faces in North America. This isn't gradual slope. This is geological violence frozen in stone. Kiger mustangs roam these slopes, descendants of Spanish horses that developed unique desert survival abilities over 400 years. They can locate water from miles away and survive on vegetation other horses cannot digest. The Wallowas are Oregon's Alps, peaks so European in character that they seem transplanted from Switzerland. Glacially carved ridges rise 5,000 feet directly from crystal-clear Wallowa Lake in fjord-like drama. These mountains form differently than Oregon's volcanic cascades, ancient ocean floor rocks thrust upward and carved by massive glaciers, creating the sharp ridges and U-shaped valleys that define classic alpine terrain. This was the homeland of Chief Joseph and the Nez Perce people, who called these valleys the land of winding waters. Their forced removal in 1877 ended thousands of years of sustainable habitation in one of North America's most beautiful mountain ranges. Sahali and Coosa Falls flow as eternal twins separated by half a mile. yet each carved with completely different personalities by the same ancient lava flows. Sahali means heaven. Kusa means sky in Chinook jargon. Sahali thunders 100 feet in a concentrated column, so powerful you feel chest vibrations from 200 feet away. Kusa spreads 70 feet in a graceful fan that seems to float, creating dozens of separate streams reuniting in crystal pools. Between these twins, the McKenzie flows with water so pure, it maintains 42 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, supporting native rainbow trout in habitat so perfect they grow larger and live longer than their warm water cousins. Oregon's tallest waterfall plunges 620 feet in 2 ethereal tiers. Yet most visitors never learn the indigenous legend that explains why this waterfall exists. According to Multnomah tribal legend, a young maiden sacrificed herself by jumping from these cliffs to end a plague threatening her people. Where her body struck earth, this waterfall sprang forth, her eternal spirit protecting the land through perpetual flow. The stone bridge, built in 1914, spans this legend 105 feet above the lower pool. Fed by underground springs and Larch Mountain snowmelt, Multnomah flows year-round with minimal seasonal variation, 5,500 gallons per minute, as if the mountain has an inexhaustible heart-pumping liquid crystal toward the Columbia River. But Oregon's impossibilities don't stop there. Opal Creek flows through the last intact low-elevation old-growth forest in Oregon. Emerald pools so clear they're called nature's swimming holes. Salt Creek Falls drops 286 feet through a slot canyon, carved by the same volcanic forces that created Diamond Lake, a perfectly round crater lake that shouldn't exist at this elevation. Oregon hides dozens of hot springs, bubbling at perfect temperatures year-round. Bagby Hot Springs offers hand-carved cedar tubs fed by 136 degrees Fahrenheit water. Umpqua Hot Springs perch on cliffs above the North Umpqua River. Hot Lake Springs once hosted a luxury resort where people traveled thousands of miles to soak in healing waters. The John Day region reveals more painted landscapes than just the famous hills. Painted Cove shows red and gold bands so vivid they look computer-generated, while Blue Basin preserves fossils in blue-green claystone that changes color with moisture. Oregon's coast hides sculptural masterpieces carved by patient waves. Face Rock resembles a sleeping giant's profile. Natural bridges span tide pools like stone rainbows. And Arch Rock frames the Pacific in perfect geological geometry. The Cascade volcanic chain continues revealing impossible peaks. Mount Washington's spire challenges climbers with loose volcanic rock. Black Butte offers 3 60-degree views from its fire lookout, and Belknap Crater shows recent lava flows so young that vegetation hasn't returned. This is Oregon, a place where the impossible becomes inevitable, where volcanic forces and patient time conspired to create landscapes that shatter every natural law you thought you understood. From Thor Well's oceanic mysteries to the Wallowa's alpine grandeur, from Crater Lake's liquid sapphire to painted stories written in stone, Oregon proves that our planet holds secrets far more magnificent than our imaginations dare envision. Indigenous peoples understood something we're rediscovering, that certain places hold concentrated life force, where the boundary between ordinary and sacred dissolves completely. These 32 hidden wonders remind us that mystery and magic survive in our hyper-connected world, waiting patiently for those willing to journey beyond the familiar into landscapes where every turn reveals new impossibilities. In a world that feels completely mapped and measured, Oregon proves that true wonder endures. Hidden in plain sight, preserved by distance, protected by difficulty, offering transformative encounters to anyone brave enough to seek the extraordinary. Because sometimes, the most profound journeys don't take you to distant planets. They take you to impossible places right here on Earth, where physics bends, legends live, and the planet itself reminds you that magic is real.